Dawson's musician of choice was the multilingual rapper PH1. So I listened to, I mean, he has several albums, several tracks out there, even standalone singles, but one of which that I listened to was Blue Champagne, and that's not technically entirely his song, but it's also this singer chick's song named Cheese. So good combination. I felt like, you know, they specifically indicate in the song they're not liking how things going. And I kind of thought, that seems pretty paramount just a year before coronavirus started. I almost wonder if they should do a Blue Champagne too. PH1 just wants to hang out in the jacuzzi, have a nice dinner, kind of trim on the loading times, and take a few pictures and not worry about it. And I can't say I blame him. You know, I wonder what Dawson thinks of the same kind of sentiments. Honestly, I'd have to say if he's in agreement with PH1, it's probably knock your head on a wall kind of, you know, it's trying to make that logic apparent. This is kind of like, it's clear as mud at this stage. Alright, so what I gathered from Do-Rag Activity was it kind of had more of like an outgoing hotel, motel kind of sense, more so than just kind of kicking it in the recliner watching football or something, even though that was probably okay. You know what I'm getting from it. The gathering is kind of saying, I mean, there's nothing to me wrong with like a good jaunt of Super Mario, but maybe something more like, oh, you know, Ice Climber or something like that, kind of saying, let's shake it up a bit. Let's try something a little bit more lively. Maybe that's just what Baby Keem and the byproduct of Travis Scott are saying. Let's shake it up a bit. Let's be a little bit more lively. Let's spruce it up. You need a jolt of energy. Look at these skimpy women over here. Fuck something. I would almost think that that's kind of the atmosphere. And it doesn't really bother me. Cobalt took a liking to it, so this is just my taste of what Cobalt's life has been circa September forward. And I'd have to say, interesting. And then there was my former roommate, Gary Nitro. So the thing about him, Cobalt has told me that he's been listening to Soundgarden. And then I heard further that Gary's been listening to Soundgarden's 1996 album, Down on the Upside, or something like that. That's pretty good. You know, I know some of the early Soundgarden years, but I don't really know grunge music much past like 1994 when Kurt Cobain died and Lane Staley completely converted being full-blown drugs. So seeing what Soundgarden was up to in the wake of all that stuff is interesting. But of course, you know, I picked a song from that album and I said, well, Blow Up the Outside World. Like, I wonder, I mean, we should ask Chris Cornell, how did you want to blow up the outside world? Did you want to shoot missiles like Kim Jong-un, drop an atom bomb like during World War II, or just plain, oh, I don't know, like do what some of these crazy terrorists are doing, you know, suicide bombers like ISIS, something like that. I don't really know. But, you know, I just kind of look at it. I mean, there's a whole encyclopedia ways of that sort of concept. You just would have to kind of say and shit. You know, honestly, look at it with this sense. We're just going to assume that Chris Cornell had a bad day. We're just going to talk about it like that. We're just going to suppose that someone cut him off in traffic on the way home and he was tired. And he only slept. On top of that, you know, maybe like a cat woke him up at 3:15 in the morning, and then he had to go to a 4-hour concert, that sort of shit. So just on top of that, looking at what happened with Gary, you know, Gary's that lazy boy, but I just would kind of have to say, don't be a stranger, Gary. You're welcome to hang out with Reggie and I, and drink a couple tall cool ones at my house, so try it.